What's up, guys? Today I'm going to break down the entire media buying strategy that we use for this brand, for example, to scale to consistent 2K days, or for this brand to scale to $10,000 a day consistently with over 3 ROAS. And I'm going to break down everything that you need to understand, really discredit all the misconceptions that are right now. And this is right now in summer, the perfect time to scale your ad account, because while your competitors are basically all, somewhere on the beach chilling and not really working and not really locked in, this is the perfect time to actually properly surf skate and iterate your ad account. And I'm going to break down exactly how that is going to look like. Okay. So what most people think media buying really looks like nowadays is, for example, lookalike audiences, finding a winning campaign setup, interest targeting, add to cart campaigns to warm up the pixel, crazy scaling strategies. No one really knows what's going on, trying to trick Facebook and trying to be smarter than the algorithm. These things fail. Okay, there's a famous quote which says simple scales, fancy fails, and there's no better use case for this quote than media buying. Trust me, guys, media buying does not matter like you think it is. Okay, it actually does matter on a super high level. It's a very difficult thing when you actually have someone who's very talented and good at what they do. But the classic uploading ads into the ad account, launching them, and looking at the end of each day if it's profitable or not is not going to matter. It's not 2016 anymore when you're trying to scale up your ads like crazy, trying to trick Facebook with some double layered lookalike structures and trying to be smarter than everything and everyone else around you. You're going to fail. All the targeting happens. All of it happens on the creative level. You have to get really good at, creative and actually good at marketing. And then the second that you do so, obviously everything else is not going to matter anymore. How you upload your ads or how you run your ads. However, there's one or two clear things, right, that every really, really good media buyer has to understand and has to properly track and properly execute in order to scale businesses that this fast as you couldn't even fathom. Like there's media buyers who are so good at what they do is that they look back into the ad account, the same ad account a week later, and the ad account spends 20 times as much as what they used to spend on the week before. Okay. And there is a system to this. It's not because they found a crazy winning product. It's also not because they found a winning interest or because they warmed up their ad account with a bunch of crazy campaigns. No, it's because of two things. First of all, the iteration process. Second of all, surf scaling. And I'm going to break down exactly how you can go on this video today and then literally double how much you spend profitably on your ad account. All right. Sounds like a bold claim, but let's do it. So an iteration basically means you run a test, you run a sprint, then you look all the metrics, you look at what exactly went wrong and went right, and then you make more of the stuff that worked and less of the stuff that didn't. Sounds easy, but most people, when they look at their ad account and their ads and they fail, they say, oh yeah, my ad failed. Oh, my ad died when I scaled it, right? They say my ad died as it's like, okay, well, cool. The ROAS is bad. And that's all they do. Most people only specifically look at the ROAS, but the thing is, there's always a metric below. You can always go deeper and dig deeper and really figure out what the problem behind the real issue was. A bad ROAS is just the symptom. It's not actually the root cause of anything. If you only track your ROAS, once again, you're going to fail. And so below the ROAS, obviously the ROAS can only go wrong because of two different reasons. CPC was too high, conversion rate was too low. Okay. If the conversion rate was too low, you can check if your add to cart rate was too low. If the CPC was bad, you can check if it's the click-through rate, if it's the CPM. If it was a click-through rate, then you can check if it's the hook rate, the 25% video view, the 50% video view, the 75% video view, and then the pitch rate. There's so much more to it than just the ROAS. And the point of this video, what I'm going to do is you always have to push your ads until some of these break, because a really big important mindset shift that I need you guys to understand is every ad breaks at some scale. If you test ads and they're not even able to get the low hanging fruits in the low budgets, that literally just means that your ad is bad. It's just a bad ad and cannot even keep up with the $20, $30 of ad spend a day. Okay. That's all it means. But there is always a budget where every single ad would perform well. Okay. Maybe it's just like so small that you're never ever going to find it. So people tend to call it hit rate, but at the same time, you have to understand that a winning ad is very subjective. For a couple people, a winning ad is when it has a 2 ROAS at a $10 budget a day. For other people, it's only a winning ad when it spends $10K a day, okay, profitably. And so you have to understand one key point. Every single ad will break to a certain point. When you reach a certain budget, right, it's different for every single ad. Obviously, how much spend they can hold and kind of really be profitable with, and when they break and when the ROAS really dips. But there's always a point for every ad, for the best ads in the world, where they turn unprofitable. Always, okay? And then when they turn unprofitable, and this is the cool part, you can once again go deeper in this specific kind of, graph and look what exactly went wrong, even if it's multiple things. Even if the add to cart rate and the CTR were bad, you can look at which exact metric was bad, and then look at the weakest one. What was the weakest metric in the entire system, and then iterate on that. And the cool part in this, right? Let's say you get an ad to spend to $500 a day profitably, and then on $510 it breaks. Cool. So what broke? Was it the conversion rate? If yes, was it the add to cart rate? Yes, no. Let's say it was the add to cart rate. Let's say the weakest metric at that $510 budget was the add to cart rate. Now, what do? You basically add in disqualifiers. You make the ad longer. You basically add in stuff like an offer drop, a call out in the hook, objection handling, more pain digging, right? Anything that makes the ad longer that people won't resonate with, but the ones that do, they actually watch more content, therefore the ad converts better. So you give up a little bit of the CPC to get better conversion rates. And you can do this trade-off all the time. That's the iteration process that I'm trying to break. And then let's say, okay, cool, now the ad scales to $550 or $600. Now it's $600 when it breaks again. Now maybe this time it's the hook rate that breaks. Maybe at this unaware stage of people are not watching the hook anymore. Cool. So what do? You test new hooks, you test the visual hooks, you test new audio hooks until the hook rate is up again. Now what do? Maybe your ad scales to $1,000 a day, and you can keep doing this until your ad spends 5 figures per day. You can do this. It's a super repeatable and not even that hard to understand process. The hard part actually lies in the execution. And so therefore, right, a lot of people think, okay, well, I'm just going to scale for 20% each day. Every day is profitable. And then maybe in 5 years, I'm at, super high budgets. No, we don't want to do that. Obviously, you right now, right before Q4 this year comes up, you want to have something which is scaling super, super high. And there's a concept which you probably maybe already know from TikTok ads, but it's very, very possible on Facebook too. It's called surf scaling, right? It's called intraday scaling, meaning during the day, you actually increase the budget on specific ABO ad sets or CBOs, whatever you kind of run. It doesn't really matter. Once again, we've learned before that crazy scaling strategies and winning campaign setups do not exist. Okay, so what do? All right. At 2 p.m., you start looking into your ad account, all the campaigns and ad sets that you're running, basically look at every single one of them. If the ROAS is above 3, you take that thing and double the budget. Immediately at 2 p.m. in the middle of the day, double the budget. If it's above 5, then you literally go ahead and 10x the budget. If the budget is running at $50 a day, you increase it to 500. Okay, then you wait 2 hours, see kind of what happens. Obviously, everything that breaks in this first bump, and everything that comes after that too. Whenever something breaks when you surf scale it back. So surf it back. That's why it's called surfing, because you ride waves. Waves are high and then low, and then high and low. That's surf scaling. Okay. Now, at 4 p.m., right, so 2 hours later, we'll look back into the account and see if the ROAS is above 3. Once again, we double the budget. So let's say we went from, for example, 50 to 100. Now we go to 200. If the ROAS is still above 5, we literally 10x the budget. Meaning, right, and this is something which is funny. If the ROAS is 5 here at 2 p.m. and we 10x from 50 to 500 and it's still above 5 at 4 p.m., then we go from 500 to 5,000 and we've 100x the budget in one singular day. This is what to all the guys that say out there, oh, you can only scale your ad 20% each day. It's bullshit. It is not true, okay? Now, at 6 p.m., we do the exact same thing. Meaning above 3 ROAS, we double the budget. Above 5, we 10x it. And then 8 p.m., it's going to be the same thing. Okay, so we do the same thing until 8 p.m. The reason why after 8 p.m. we're not going to do 10x bumps anymore, is because this would be really aggressive and probably most of the cases actually breaks. So after 8 p.m., usually things start to kind of slow down, and this is the surf where the wave actually kind of calms down. But at 9 p.m., we once again, last, kind of ad account check of the day, we look into the account. If the ROAS is still above 3 on one of the campaigns or one of the ad sets, we double the budget. Okay, so we can literally, like, if you maximize this whole thing, right? Let's calculate it: 10x, 100x, 1000x, 10,000x, 20,000x the budget. If everything's done correctly, technically, you could literally do this and within one day, 20,000x the budget. Now, in reality, it's not going to look like this, but if you can just get your budget to be 10x or maybe even 20x on a singular day on a specific ad set, this is how ad accounts scale. This is how you go from Shopify dashboards that look like this to Shopify dashboards where the blue line is here, and it does work. And the cool thing is, the next day when the ROAS breaks below break even, for example, or below 2, however you kind of want to scale and what your margins are or what you want your margins to be, basically then you just look into this, and that's the cool part. You combine these two strategies that you've learned now in this video, and then you look at which exact metric went wrong. So let's say it's the hook rate, right? Then you make better hooks. You test a separate hook test with the blank image ads and only text on them. If it's the drop off in some type of, somewhere in your ad, then okay, well, I just got to really have a better script. I got to make it longer, shorter. I got to make variations, changing the order of the stuff that I say things, change the visuals, all that kind of stuff. If it's the pitch rate, then I need a stronger call to action. My ad should be longer, right? If it's the add to cart rate, again, I'm missing more urgency. I'm missing disqualifiers. If it's the CPM, my audience is too small, or my audience is overall just too tapped, meaning I got to change it up. I got to broaden up. I got to niche down, whatever really works best. And you can do this until you reach Meta's 200K a day spending limit. Like, it's actually crazy, but this system, this process works. It actually works, and go ahead and try it. Again, I don't expect anything from you to believe me. You have nothing to lose. Go ahead and try this in your ad account right now, and you will see that this works. Next day that you see, like next time that you run ads and you see that, at 6 p.m. your budget is above 5 on one, ROAS is above 5 on one specific campaign, CBO campaign, or one specific ABO ad set, then 10x the budget, and you will see how crazy well that works. And then when something breaks, so when anything breaks, I never want you going on this video to say, oh, my ad failed or my ad died when I scaled ever again, because it's never that. It always has a specific metric behind it. So this was pretty much it for this video, guys. I've no more to tell you guys in this video. Yeah, I want to say thank you so much for giving me your most important asset, which is your attention. Thank you for watching. I wish you a beautiful day.